I feel like everyone on the planet Earth right now is doing Devon Larratt's pronation lift. It took over arm wrestling for past year. And I see from beginners, from total beginners that even have never arm wrestled, to pros doing it. What I see a lot of times is people are doing it very wrong. And I think they're doing it very, very wrong for a reason that they kind of don't understand what it's about. So they see something and they just try to imitate what Devon is doing. But it's the same thing as someone will show you an exercise and then you're trying to do that exercise without checking your form, without seeing yourself in a mirror. So today I'm going to go through in the video about how to do it correctly, what it's good for, where I disagree about use of it with Devon, and how to do it properly to get better at arm wrestling, because that's the main point, right? You want to do it to get better at arm wrestling. And one of the big things is ego. So your ego is going to get in the way and you will feel like, I could lift more, and then you're going to lose the sense or the purpose of the whole lift. So let's go. We'll start very easily. So if this is Devon's pronation lift. So pronation lift, and he usually puts it under the thumb. So if this is pronation lift, the pronation is the most important thing. Everything else is secondary. So you put it over your thumb, and Devon even does this, like you can see from here, a little kickback. So he kind of goes back like this. So it adds more pressure on the pronator. Here, your wrist and your flexors might take over and you might lose something. So he will do this. And the whole idea is to protect this. So from the start until the end of the movement, this should not move. And if you see how Devon arm wrestles, his pronation is stronger than his back pressure. His pronation, and like everyone, like pronation, in my opinion, is second most important thing after cupping power. Like if you have a really strong hand, perfect. But if you have really weak pronator, you know, so you need to find some balance between these two, and then everything else kind of comes and puts everything together. So about the ways to do it. So when Devon does, he's in this what we call gopnik squat. So right here, and then he goes up from here. It's very easy to do it like this because you're going to use your natural body leverages to lift it up. You don't have to like use your arm, use your back or anything. You can literally just set it in, put it here, and just kind of sit down, and you're going to lift it. So the angle here is the most important. As it cuts down to 90 degrees, that means there's most tension in this position. So there's a rule in training. Whatever angles you train at, those angles you're going to get stronger. So in this angle right here with the belt on pronator, it creates the most tension on pronator and on your elbow flexors. If you put your arm like this in this kind of position, 90-degree position, this is position where you're going to get strongest. And if you see someone like Michael Todd doing this lift where his arm goes from 90 to almost open, but the pronator doesn't move, that's where he gets stronger, and that's what he uses on the table. So if you're used to pulling very close, but you do your pronation lifts, so about, let's say, 45 degrees lower, the transfer of power will not be that great. You're going to end up getting opened and then stopping your opponent in a position where you don't want to be. So how to fix this? So you can always change the angle of your arm by coming closer. All you want to keep 90 degree here to keep this parallel to the floor. So if you can keep this and you come closer, and then all you do is again just lean up. Perfect. Now I'm working on this angle, not just this angle. So that's the first fix, understanding what kind of angle you want to do. Second thing is pronator, most important. If this is pronation lift, pronator is the most important thing. So if you put it around your thumb, and as soon as you start to lift the weight, you go and open up here, you just lost your pronator, you failed the lift. That's it, go back on weights and actually do it. Your pronator should not open. That's the main rule. If You want to work on something else, put the strap differently. If you want to work on your back pressure, put the strap like this, and here you can work on your back pressure. Just sit down and lift it up. If you want to work on your riser, put it over your knuckle and lift it up like this. But again, keeping those angles 90 degree and working from them. Squatting down is fine. You could be sitting, you could be standing and doing these lifts, right? It really depends on you. But I think it's very controlled environment, and you kind of get down there and you do it and you lift it, and perfect. So the angles is everything. If you take the strap and you put it like this, and then you start lifting like this is much easier than this. Don't believe me? Let's try this. Put on a weight that is somewhat challenging to you and lift it like this, and then all you're gonna do is just roll out, be at 90 parallel to the floor in 90 degrees, and you will see how hard it gets on your back pressure on your pronator. So where this lift works great, in my opinion, it puts pressure on your pronator, it builds your pronator power, and then you can transfer it on the table. I do believe that for top rollers, but you have to be very aware of the angles you're using it. If your angles are like this, your arm wrestling is going to look like this. If your angle's like this, your arm wrestling is going to look like this. So Devon goes for 1 rep. He lifts it up, puts it down, goes up. So I kind of disagree there, as I have a powerlifting background, and if you know anyone from strength sports, they will tell you like the thing that like you don't lift weights for one time. You can't do it consistently and just keep on going up. Michael Todd started to do his lifts and goes like 1 rep max, and every day he increases the weight and goes up. It's impossible to sustain. You always have to go back. You have to do your reps. You have to do your conditioning. So problem what I see is people just do this and they ignore all the other things that Devon is doing or arm wrestlers are doing. So it should be part of your like training system. You can implement it. I do feel like a better option is doing some static holds in that position. Will allow you to work on your pronator a little better. If you get it here and you lift it up and you kind of just actively trying to resist being turned in, that's great. If you do it for reps, that's great. 1 rep maxes, I really don't know. If you do it not too heavy and maybe multiple sets of it, it should be fine. Because if you look at powerlifting, let's say deadlifts, you can't just go and do deadlifts 1 rep and expect to grow in long term, because your central nervous system, especially you go heavier, is going to be destroyed. But this is very local exercise. It doesn't take much from you. When you lift it, you don't stop and just go like, I'm going to die here. No, it's pretty okay because it's very local. Not a lot of things are involved. So most likely you can do more of this. But finding the best way to do it, that's up to you, right? I would say static holds, reps, maybe 1 rep maxes where you don't go too heavy, where actually you go, so the kind of speed reps where you go here and you just lift it up, where it's not like this, where it's very slow initiation. It's fine to do those things at some point, but I think it will come down how you arm wrestle. And maybe you don't arm wrestle like Devon. Because look at Devon. Like Devon is like very slow, and he can put all those things on table, and that's exactly how he arm wrestles. And I think that this lift really transfers well to his power. But everyone's built completely different. And building strength here for a top roller, great. For inside puller, I don't know. I really haven't done this, but I think I'm going to experiment with it. And I'm going to make maybe a few videos and see, maybe check in a month later to see my progress. Because I do feel like I need a little bit more, especially on my left arm, better top roll. So I would need a better pronation. So this lift is perfectly transferring the power where it builds your pronator lift, but you're going to be limited by the power of your pronator. So you can change the lift and go like hammer curl and go for back pressure and build your rising. So play around with it, understand what you're trying to do, don't just ego lift, and make sure it transfers to your arm wrestling. yeah, stay strong. Love arm wrestling.